today, as it is mentioned, we are going to talk about digital native, because I see digital native as not only the present and the future, and even it's reshaping a lot of our thinking from a software engineering perspective. Let me start by a brief about me. Okay, I'm a solution architect, cloud solution architect. I'm working for Google Cloud and based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. I'm very, very, very fond since ages about cloud native and microservices and SOA and integration. Okay. The cloud itself, the aspect of connecting things and the connected cars and the autonomous driving, this is something that is really giving me passion, to work, okay? Service meshing is one of the toppest favorite thing that I have in my mind. I even usually try to write out blogs and even share information about service meshing, because it's one of the passion that I have today. Not only in the cloud, but as well in the hybrid story, how service meshing is really serving that. I will not share agenda. I'm gonna just speak freely and provide my opinion from a digital native on how really I'm seeing that it is really reshaping software engineering. So what is digital native? Okay, by definition, digital natives, those are the people who really were brought up or grow up during the technology era. Okay, so they are really more into computer, into mobile, and into devices, tablets, and different smart devices. Okay, and I put that cartoon because really it's expressing there that digital native is switching even the customer objective and the customer demand. You see here, this is a baby. He is coming back from kindergarten, and he's not happy because he did not find accessibility. He did not find Wi-Fi. This is some people would think that this is too much, but this is the normal nowadays. I cannot live, for example, without my mobile for like 5 minutes. Okay, without my computer, I cannot live one day. This is true. Again, this is the digital native aspect that is really reshaping the customer demand and the customer goal, and hence reshaping everything, including the software engineering. So let's talk about what is the expectation and the interest of a digital native, because in the end, whenever we are building a software or whenever we are doing anything in the whole world, we are aiming for the customer that is using it. Okay, so the digital native customer interest and expectation is to more have different channels, different devices, portability. They don't want to talk about limiting themselves for using only laptops or desktops or workstations. No, they want to be able to use any smart device, any portable device. They even are biased more to smart device and portable devices. Also, whenever they are learning things, they want to intuitively learn things. So they are learning things by sense, and that's why even they are multimedia oriented. They don't want to really hear the whole logic in order to deduce something or learn something from it. No, they want to really feel it and sense it and see it, okay? And really fast, doing everything very fast. Everything. If I'm shopping something, okay, and it's taking me like 10 hours to do the shopping online, this is not acceptable for me. Even if I'm requesting any service and the service response is not very fast, is not fast enough for me, I will just expel it. So digital native are always talking about speed, expecting very high speed from the services that they are consuming. Accessibility and connectivity is very important. They want to be able to do anything from anywhere, okay? And from anywhere across the whole globe, and sometimes even from anywhere, not only devices and not only geographical regions, but as well from different applications and different way of doing things, okay? And that's why social network and social media is important for them. Something like Facebook, something like Instagram, integration with LinkedIn, integration with different channels that they are used to use on a daily basis. They want to really hear the knowledge. They want to really be connected across the whole world, okay? Also, they understand the technology. So that's why they are a little bit sophisticated customer, because it's not easy to, I wouldn't say fascinate them, but satisfy them, okay? And that's why they are increasing the expectation and the demand for any service consumption. Also, they are more into digital. I mean, whenever we are talking about, for example, taking notes, drawing something, capturing something, even in, for example, in navigation, they want to have everything digitalized, not analog, not paperwork, not even integration in the old-fashioned or the old-school way. No, they want to really always be wowed from the service that is delivered to them. A lot of people would, in the software engineer, would mix digital native with digital transformation, okay? And this is not the case. I mean, digital native is a goal, okay? Whenever we are building something, service or business or whatever, even a product or an application, and we want to say that I am digital native, okay? This is your goal that you want to achieve, okay? This is your target. Digital transformation is more the methodology to take legacy enterprises or legacy portfolio or legacy application to move it towards the scale of digital native. And whenever we have the topic of digital transformation, it is a complex topic. Why is it a complex topic? Because we are not talking about transforming one application or even 10 people. From an enterprise or a company of size 10 people. We are talking about big enterprises, big banks, or even big industries. How to really transform them to the digital native era smoothly, without really, I wouldn't say without risks, but with identifying the risk of the transformation and mitigate it and plan for it. And that's why the digital transformation is the ability to really, in a simple English, digitize your own business, digitize your own culture, how to make it more into digital native, okay? The target there, really, because again, digital native have very high expectation. The target, again, for the transformation is very high. Like, for example, one of the targets, how to really integrate two businesses so smoothly. I mean, two different business contexts. As you can see in that picture, we are integrating different contexts. Like, for example, traffic with banks, with railways, with airways, with social media. We are differently, I mean, we have different contexts, different industries, and they are capable of integrating together in order to have a learning system. Because the idea behind the digital native, because in order, again, in order to really meet and achieve the expectation of the digital native, we need to build a learning system, okay? Not only a generic knowledge management system, but as well a learning system between different contexts. Like, for example, the weather can be communicating or consumed by, for example, the transportation. Those are two different industries, two different contexts even. Their logic and methodologies and applications and languages and everything is different, but they are capable to communicate with each other and help in the educational path or the learning path of the business there, okay? Again, it's as if, think of it as if we are building wide ecosystem, okay, from a business, from a different perspective and different context altogether. And again, because digital native is talking about speed, talking about accessibility, connectivity, we need to be innovative, we need to be reactive, not responsive. Because remember that it's not easy to satisfy the digital native consumer. He has already, he or she has very high expectations. So it's not easy to wow them. It's not easy to satisfy them. And your aim should be wow them. And that's why you should regularly promote new features, new businesses, new things in order to keep their interest, okay, in the service that you are building. Let's talk about how the software development and the software engineer were focusing on. I mean, what are the focus or the main point for the software development and the software engineer before digital native? And what are the problems that we were targeting to achieve, to fix, or to have practices to really overcome those obstacles? The focus there was really, I want to really focus on enriching my business services and features. I want to really plan for new features. Like, for example, in the cars, if we're talking about automotive, I want to plan for new models and new design to the car itself, new functionality for the motor to make it more speed, more stuff for safety and all that stuff. Again, those are mainly automotive business features or mainly automotive services. Also, we were focusing on the time to business market. And what's time to business market? I mean, let's say, for example, we are talking about Daimler. Daimler was focusing on their competitors in the automotive industry. So their focus from a time to market was on the current business only, not on the whole world, not on everything, okay? Environment governance as well. Another problem that we were facing in the software development and software engineer is that how to really control what is being released in a specific environment, whether it's testing or staging or production. How to make sure and guarantee that the performance is not gonna be impacted, or the quality of the services that is delivered from a security, from a performance, from a functional and other non-functional aspects are met, okay? We're not really breaking anything. Productivity was an issue as well, because again, one of the issues that we were facing prior digital native is that we were planning and developing long releases, like 3-month releases or like even 6-month releases, okay? And whenever we send the release for the business owner or for the client to test it, okay? I'm talking here about the client as the business client, not the end consumer, okay? They were coming back, no, this is not the requirement, no, this is not what we meant, this is broken, where are the business rules, this is not how I expected it, my expectation right now is different, and even sometimes they change their request. And that's why managing the whole productivity together with the governance of the requirements was really, again, a focus to make sure that things are really in control. Business quality, again, as I mentioned, B2B and B2C integration, it was an issue, okay? And it is still an issue. I'm not saying that it is not a challenge, but it was a main and a big challenge, how to really manage the integration between different, between a partner and the service provider and between different vendors, how to make sure that we have really the proper integration setup between the different parties, I mean. Also, we were focusing about the modern programming language and platforms. We were talking about Oracle database, Microsoft SQL database, Java, .NET, Golang, whatever. Okay, so we were focusing more on really building the whole system in a consistent way using one modern programming language and one modern platform. Okay, whether it's a data platform or reporting platform or even a platform like an application server or a runtime platform. Okay, and possible practices that we have that we invent and really came up with in order to help in really delivering such focuses were DevOps for continuous integration, I mean, which includes continuous integration, continuous deployment, and even we implemented or defined their different levels of DevOps in order to really help in the governance, help in the productivity, help in the quality assurance and all the stuff that is related to controlling and governing the software lifecycle. Also, agile methodologies were invented there because this is going to help in the productivity, making sure that the business is aligned with the developers and with the architects and different stakeholders, making sure that we deliver faster to the client in order to make sure that we verify that whatever we are building is consistent with whatever the client is envisioning from a business and from a user interface perspective and from a business flow perspective. Also, infrastructure as a code was invented and introduced in order to help in the automation and to make sure that the productivity is met, because in that case we are automating the provisioning of the environments, the provisioning of the services itself, helping with the business quality in the business continuity and different flavors that we were facing by that time. I mean, it was a pain by that time how to really manage the infrastructure, especially that by that time cloud was not adopted that much. I mean, also enterprise service bus and message broker and BPMN and business rules and all the nice flavor standards that we have in tools and platforms in order to tackle the business automation and to tackle as well the integration issues. It was as well invented and introduced to help with that aspect. Test automation again for the quality and for the regression testing and validating whenever we are adding more features, we're not breaking anything. All the aspects that is related to the modern software development, like test development driven approach, TDD, and as well the pair programming and others. Okay, let's talk about what was the focus out of that, what I shared here for the software development and the software engineering. I mean, the focus there that we were trying to satisfy the business. So the main aspect was there, I want to make sure that I meet the objectives of the business owner, whoever is defining the requirements. Okay, this was the aim, that I want to really meet the industry, satisfy the industry, satisfy the business owner, and make sure that I don't implement incorrect requirements or miss a requirement that is defined by the business owner. And also another thing that were highlighted or used in that era is that data were treated as history. I mean, we were treating data as data at a rest, okay, or data for reporting. Nothing more. I mean, data was not really used as a treasure. We were not treasuring data by that time because it was a matter of just keeping it as an history, okay, for reference, for auditing, for reporting, for compliance. That's all, okay. But we were not really focusing on anything beyond that. And even we were talking about securing the data at rest and securing the data in the communication, but not really driving anything from this data because we were not treasuring the data by that time. After digital native, because again, the digital native customer increased the target and the goal and the expectations, okay? And hence the focus from a software engineer and the software development is changed. And even, by the way, just to give you an example, telcos, for example, before digital native, telco were focusing on what? On just their services that they were delivering, like 2G or even 3G and 4G, okay? Right now, telcos are focusing more on the edge computing because the edge computing is more into the cloud native. They are, yes, delivering the services, the telecom services, but as well they are integrating with other business industries in order to deliver the aspect of the digital native experience for the customers. The focus here more was on the customer experience and the customer journey. So we care more about the client. We care more about the end client, not the business client, no, the end customer, the end consumer. So for example, for the automotive, we care more about the digital native person who is driving the car, who is using the car, who is sitting inside the car, okay? What is his journey and experience in the car or in the automotive in general? Again, the focus was, because again, remember that the digital native were talking about fast, digital, more into technology, connected, connectivity, accessibility, fast. You need to wow the digital native consumer. It's not easy to satisfy him or her. And that's why the focus, one of the focuses, build smart services. You need to be intelligent. You don't need to only deliver the business, because if automotive companies, or if any of the automotive companies only focus on the investing in the car itself, without adding services like the connected car services, like the smart and intelligent services that we have inside the car. Those are not part of the automotive industry. Those are more part of the smart services and the intelligent services that we are delivering through the car in order to enhance the customer journey and experience and customer life while he is sitting or driving the car. Also, we need to, we need to be proactive rather than responsive. We need not to wait for a problem or wait until the customer requests something, like wait for a customer to really think or search about a product to share, to buy it. No, we need to be proactive and recommend a product to the customer, or even advise from a healthcare perspective, advise some stuff based on some smart services and others as well. No service disruption, because before we were talking about SLA 99.999 or even 99.95. Okay, right now the customer, the digital native customer, is not expecting any delays, is not expecting any disruption. He or she is always expecting the service to, whenever they need it, they will get it. Just like the Netflix or the Facebook, nobody can really accept those services to go down. Again, industry integration is very important. I mean, I want to integrate, not using only single sign, but integrating the data. And I would just give you an example at the end of the presentation. Also, channels are important. Whenever you are building a software or a product, channels definitely is important. Like, for example, the automotive industry, yes, they need to build something in the car as a smart service, but they need to connect the smart service to my mobile, to my iWatch, to my laptop, to my home devices, okay? So that I am feeling that I can do whatever I want from anywhere, okay? Time to market. Before we were talking about time to business market. No, right now we are talking about time to market. I'm seeing what's happening in the whole world, not only in my current industry or my current business. No, because let me just tell you something. Like, for example, the VR, okay, the virtual reality. Let's say that whoever invented the virtual reality, if the automotive industry, if it does not consider the virtual reality at a certain point, they will lose. I mean, the customers will lose interest in the industry itself. The industry itself will not progress as before, as expected, and hence the innovation in the automotive itself will stop. Okay, that's why right now, even the industries and the businesses are not just focusing on their current industry, but as well investing in understanding what is happening in the other industries, what is happening in the social media, what is happening in the airway, what is happening in other industries as well, to make sure that whoever is using other industries is really satisfied by this industry. Business service and business feature is still a focus, by the way, and governance is still a focus, but it's not the main focus anymore. And also learning, okay, because again, how the ultimate goal in the digital native, how to make my life easy, how to deliver me the most complex service, okay, in an easy and simple way and digital way and fast way. And that's why right now, the product itself needs to learn from its history, and needs to learn from other industries, okay? Like, for example, what are the expectations of the youth between, for example, 16 years and 18 years in a specific geographical region, because this will help in improving the customer experience and the customer journey, and hence moving forward with the industry and doing innovations and invention in such industry. What are the different practices that evolved out of those focuses? Definitely AI and ML. AI and ML adoption was a priority there, because this is going to help you in the learning methodology, in the education and the learning curve, as well as in building smart service and as well enhancing the customer experience and customer journey. Because right now you are really building smart products. You're not just building products by if else or switch cases or business logic. No, you are more focusing on really being more intelligent, more smart, more predictive, more wise in order to really satisfy and also wow your customer. Cloud native and microservices is another pattern that got introduced because of the scalability and because of how to really maintain the variable load and make sure that we don't have any disruption in the service, make sure that it is fast, make sure that we are capable, no matter what's happening, to be more proactive and handle more load. API gateway and API management was another thing that got introduced in order to integrate different businesses, in order to integrate different vendors, and to really overcome the integration issue. And even event-driven architecture was supporting really how to really integrate smoothly without really facing the old school integration problem in its complexity, like building an API and hosting this API and doing a mediation and all that stuff. And dependency, if the service is down or the service provider is down, the consumer is impacted, and that stuff. Innovation is a big practice that got introduced because, again, digital native is always expecting whoever is building the product or the service to not only think out of the box, but innovate, invent something new every day. I mean, he or she is expecting whenever they are using the service or the product to really see something new, okay? And not something new that is gonna make his life pain. No, something new that really can think of it, wow, this is smart. Wow, this is fascinating. Wow, this is really helpful. I learn a lot from it, okay? Business automation is an important thing because remember, fast, we need to deliver everything fast. We need not to break anything. We need not to deliver less business quality. We need to not only maintain the business quality, but increase it in a fast manner, but as well deliver things in an intelligent way. IoT and edge computing is a must there because we want to connect everything with everything and really collect the data from anywhere and really do the computation that we want to do and have no latency. And that's why edge computing is a very important pattern and practice that is used highly definitely in the telecom, okay, and in other industries like automotive and airways and others. Big data as well as serverless. Serverless is an important thing because, again, remember that one of the main concerns of the software development and software engineer before digital native and after digital native is the cost. The cost of the operational, the cost of the software, the cost of the platform, the cost of a lot of the stuff. And that's why serverless and cloud adoption are important. Cloud is really helping a lot with the digital native because not only it is a public and helping with the public aspect, but as well helping with the channels providing different channels, global accessibility, connectivity, and even as well the cloud providers are always innovating in a technology perspective so that you can consume those innovations in your software product. What we conclude from that is that, again, before we were talking about business owner, industry, now we are talking about customer experience. This is the main driven thing. I mean, we can really change the business and the industry roadmap based on the customer experience. I mean, if the customer is expecting something, if the customer is not satisfied with the industry, if the customer is aiming to have a feature from another industry to this industry, or even from a smart perspective, I mean, intelligent services and smart services perspective, this can change the whole roadmap and the whole strategy of the product and the industry as well. Right now, data is more treasured because data is really the fuel of everything. I mean, without data, you don't have anything. because data, not only it's a history, but you are able to derive from it information, useful information. You are able to build your own knowledge within industry, within different categories and different insights, different classifications of your data. And also you are able to really define your wisdom path. What is the future? Shall I predict something? Shall I advise my consumer for something? Shall I avoid something? Because again, data can help not only in enhancing the customer experience from a usability perspective, but it can really help with the optimizing and enhancing the life of the person itself. This is something that can be very powerful. I, for example, could predict that I can, for example, have a heart attack in 1 hour or something. I can, for example, predict something good or something bad. Again, it's based on the calculations of the data that I have, that I'm capturing from everywhere. Okay. Again, data here is not talking about history, it's not talking about storage, it's not talking about reports, and not talking about even audits and compliance, but more we are talking about events, having the capability to really deal with a change in the data and derive from it a change in the information, change in my knowledge that will really impact understanding my wisdom. What is the wisdom? How can I define my own wisdom path? Let me give you an example about digital native, and this is again for retail, for a supermarket, okay? So, for example, we are using here augmented reality together with machine learning and AI, okay? And through the tablet or through the mobile, the product itself or the software itself is able to really assist the customer in the shopping and really help not only identifying the products, but as well providing some sort of recommendations to the product, to the customer. And this is gonna help the customer to have a better experience, shopping experience in the supermarket itself. And even that is used in online. Some of the supermarkets are using it in the online shopping after COVID-19. So this is really an example for digital native, because I expect that I should have connected. I should be able to view the supermarket, select whatever I want, and even capture a different comparison between different products online on the fly. I don't need to go and really compare it on the Google or compare it elsewhere, or even ask my friend. No, I want to really have it in front of my eye in no time and digitalized. Okay. This is a sample to the architecture. Again, it's just a sample to show you how can we implement it, okay? How can we implement digital natives, okay? Usually, whenever you are implementing digital native, you are not relying on one cloud, okay? You are relying on different clouds, and even sometimes ground application running applications or data resides in data centers, okay? And as well edge computing. Okay. Whenever you are talking about workloads, we are not anymore focusing on programming language. And remember the focus point for the digital native. I don't care whether you use Java or Go or .NET or Python or whatever. This is not the problem anymore. And I don't care which cloud or which infrastructure you are going to use, because this is not important anymore. The most important thing is to really the customer, to deliver a better and an enhanced customer journey and experience. And that's why I don't care if you are doing containerized workloads or non-containerized workloads, if it is a Java or if it is a .NET, if it is MySQL or if it is Postgres, or if it is whatever kind of database. Okay. In the end, the idea behind it is that I'm able to connect all that together to deliver a good and a smart customer experience. You can see here we have different flavors that is delivered by the cloud and delivered by the application development communities like PaaS, FaaS, Kubernetes, containers, all the modern techniques and strategies that is supporting the digital native aspects. Okay. auto provisioning, AI anywhere. This is the idea. I want to really be able to capture data from anywhere and deliver my services anywhere. And that's why the hybrid story or the digital native story as well is supporting AI anywhere. So you are able to run AI on the edge computing or run it on this cloud or even on-prem or even in the factory if you are enhancing the customer journey for the factory and for example, for goods like food goods or any goods that you are manufacturing. API gateway and business automation as well as used there, as you can see, as well as DevOps, as well as the service broker and service catalog and microservices and cloud native, whether it's stateless or stateful. So with that, I'd like to thank you all, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you so much, Rania. That was so interesting, and it's so interesting to see like the digital future and where it's going, and obviously like the shift in focus. It's really helpful and obviously important to know. So thank you for all of that. We do have a few questions, so I'll just run them through with you. First question was around like environment governance. It was, does environment governance improve if like sprints are run, reviewed, and stakeholders get to see the process at regular points?
Again, environment government, definitely. If you have sprint and agile, the governance there is something that is really improving and enhancing. Because whenever you are testing agile, you are implementing a feedback approach. So you are always learning from whatever you are doing, so that in the future you are avoiding things, okay? But again, it's not mainly on the agile or the sprint planning and that stuff. The governance of the environment is more into the DevOps capabilities, okay? Whenever we are building workflows to control the promotion and to also build continuous integration and also build continuous deployment, which feature should go for what? Which feature should be delivered to whom? Which feature, what kind of criteria that I need to pass before moving to a specific environment. It could be security testing, pen testing, stress testing, whatever. I mean, I could pass and go to staging, for example, if I pass the functional testing, but non-functional, no, I cannot go to production, for example.
So the next question was around the practices when you was running through, obviously, like DevOps and Agile, and basically asking if you think that they're all equally as important when it comes to like an organization and their digital transformation, or if you think there are some that play more of a vital part in that. So, for example, like DevOps.
Definitely digital transformation have some, I mean, we cannot go for smart services if we don't have concrete DevOps, okay? We cannot go for building smart and intelligent things if we don't, if we're still living by old culture, okay? Because again, in the end, if we are going to aim for digital native, okay, and do digital transformation, we need to educate the culture and the people. The people are the assets who are really doing the test cases, the coding, the business. So if they are not really into the digital native world, okay, things will fail. The digital transformation will fail. So there are definitely different practices that are important, like cloud adoption is an important. DevOps is an important, okay? I would say as well, event-driven architecture is an important, because this is the aspect of really how to build those decoupling services. So really the architecture is important with respect to event-driven architecture, with respect to the API gateway and API management. But the most important thing is to start by DevOps, because if you don't educate people from a training perspective, from a culture perspective, the digital transformation will fail, definitely.
What measures would you take to ensure the data captured is of good quality, reliable, and can be used for predictive analysis or reporting?
Okay, that's a very good question, because again, we have different best practices for assessing the coverage of the data whenever we are running machine learning. Okay, we have training data and really making sure that whatever we are using is of good quality, of high coverage, and it's fair, because AI can really be unfair. I mean, you can have a model that is trained based to specific gender, for example, or based to specific color, okay? So we need to treat that as an important thing in our methodology, because again, the aim is to enhance everybody experience, not specific category of the customer's experience. And that's why there are well-defined processes and life cycle for the data in order to validate that you have high coverage, to validate that even the data is consistent, you don't have conflicts, okay? And also to test your own data prior building your trained model and moving it to production.
We had a question as well, just asking around any book or source that you'd recommend to learn more around the topic of, I'd assume, of obviously a digital native future. And
you see, the digital native aspect itself is a lot of people are confusing between a lot of things, okay? But I would always recommend to read in the aspect of the cloud native, okay? Because cloud native is the start of things, okay? Also AI, we have a huge different categories for AI and for machine learning. Digital native itself, we are still building. I mean, we don't have quite resources that is really defining everything, okay? But there are some resources that are really good, okay, for especially for the practices of the digital transformation. I could send a set of papers that are really nice to just explain from a brief perspective why we are doing digital native and why what is the current obstacles, because this is an important thing as well. Again, the road is not clear and the road is not clean as well. We have a lot of obstacles and a lot of really things to take care of.
Got another question as well, just around some of the key considerations where an organisation should make when starting their cloud adoption journey. What are the mistakes to avoid or challenges that people overlook when starting?
This is again a very good question. Usually organization and enterprises don't consider the culture, okay? Again, culture is a fatal thing. I mean, it's not a matter of just talking about technology and process, because again, whenever we are talking about cloud adoption, it's technology, process or architecture and process, and as well the culture, because you cannot do anything without the people, without your assets, okay? So you need to get their buy-in, you need to train them well, you need to let them understand what is the aim of it, why are we moving forward towards that, and what if we don't move towards the digital native, why are we going to the cloud? A lot of people would just oppose managed services or serverless because this means that I don't have a job. No, you need to really maybe talk to your people, okay, and reskill them openly. But this is a lot of the enterprises would fail in the digital transformation because of that. They are not considering the people. They are not considering the aspect of training the people and reskilling people whenever needed, and still focusing on only the aspect of the technology. Okay, only the aspect of I want to modernize it. I want to move to the cloud. Yes, but whoever will migrate to the cloud and modernize your portfolio and build your services in the end would be the people that you are using for development, for testing, for business. So you need to get their buy-in, and this is a very important thing in the organization itself.
With regards to PWA, progressive web apps, it's still in some ways behind native apps. How does this affect this topic?
We're not saying that the whole set of the software engineering is into the digital native, and not even the enterprises. I mean, even when we are talking about big enterprises and industries, they still have mainframe, okay? And really mainframe is not into the topic of the digital native even. That's why whenever we are talking more into developing a journey for the digital transformation, think more about hybrid. Think more about moving smaller steps, proven steps, glue it to whatever you have today until you are completely re-innovating your portfolio, okay? And you can live by some of the applications that they are not moving towards the cloud. Some of the applications, they don't need to go towards digital native. But again, don't aim to take it all as a one-step journey. No, it's not like that. It's a transformational journey. It's proven. It's better to go proven small steps. Okay. Again, I know that we have a lot of stuff, especially in the web apps and in the mobile apps, that is not really meeting today that is satisfaction of the customer. Okay, but it is progressing. We have different new approaches and new strategies that is being offered by the cloud providers in order to support that area. But again, if you have an application, don't really lift and shift it, okay? Because it can work temporarily, but on the long run, it can be a failure for the whole transformation journey.
Yeah, no, that's been really, really helpful. Thank you so much.